After an ancient artifact is misused, gigantic creatures begin to appear all over the earth. May 1992, Dong Hai, Thailand. Stella is a curious young girl, the daughter of an American scientist and his local wife. As she tries to make sense of the world around her, she questions everything, from the existence of alien civilizations to why people still believe in ancient traditions passed down through generations. Her father, Tom, does his best to explain these big ideas in simple terms. Later that day, the family joins a local celebration. As they do every year, the townspeople journey to a sacred site to offer a symbolic human figure made from animal meat. According to legend, their town was cursed, and in the demon's realm, one of its days equals a full year on Earth. To keep the curse at bay, the people return each year to feed the demonic presence and earn its forgiveness. During the ritual, Tom quietly slips away, promising to return soon. Everyone is instructed to keep their heads bowed during prayer, but Stella breaks the rule, searching the crowd for her father. Suddenly, a chilling, animal-like shriek echoes through the area. The elder, Jamboon, commands everyone to stay still and keep praying. That night, the villagers return home, bound by tradition to remain indoors until dawn and never to look toward the forest, for fear the demon might strike. Tom returns without explaining where he's been, reassuring his daughter and wife instead. Later that night, Stella wakes to see her father sneaking out into the forest. She secretly follows him to the sacred site, where Tom discovers shredded ritual flags and bits of flesh scattered among the trees. Suddenly, a terrifying creature emerges, but Tom scares it off with his flashlight and a pistol. Hearing a noise behind him, he turns and finds Stella, who has followed him despite the danger. To protect her, Tom hides her in an old shed and gives her a radio. He tells her to call for help and use the code phrase, Bravo 125. Leaving Stella behind, Tom heads toward a glowing sphere surrounded by several rotating rings. Using a bracelet on his wrist, he tries to control it. But just as a monstrous creature attacks again, the sphere resists him and triggers a violent explosion, sending a wave of energy into space. Stella emerges from hiding to find her father, but suddenly, corpses begin to rain from the sky. Terrified, she calls for help on the radio, but the person who responds ignores her pleas. Now trapped in a nightmarish scene, surrounded by falling bodies and monsters, Stella runs, until she finally encounters a group of people arriving at the site of the disaster. March 2023, Bangkok. Stella works at a space and celestial bodies museum. One day, her boss drags her into a financial scheme aimed at making more money. When the authorities uncover the illegal operation, Stella's boss pins the blame on her, leading to her dismissal. Recently divorced and now a single mother to a young daughter named Valen, Stella finds herself without a job or a home. Unsure where they'll sleep that night, she promises Valen she'll do whatever it takes to take care of them. That evening, an old friend, ITT, calls to inform Stella that her mother's health has taken a sudden turn for the worse. With everything lost, Stella returns to her hometown to care for her ailing mother. Back in Dong Hai, memories flood back, memories of 30 years ago when no one believed her story. Her mother and Jamboon insisted that Tom hadn't disappeared, but had simply abandoned the family and ran off with a lover. Stella knew the truth, but no one would listen. Now, it's all part of the past. Visiting her mother in the hospital, Stella finds her elderly parents seem to have lost her sanity. She mumbles the code phrase, Bravo 125, and asks Stella to contact her father. Soon after, Jamboon and his son Kong propose that Stella sell the family land to buy an apartment in Bangkok. She agrees to think it over, knowing she needs to care for her daughter but finds it hard to part with her childhood home. As she tries to protect Valen, Stella remembers how, 30 years ago, local boys tormented her, but Kong was the only one who ever stood up for her. He hasn't changed much since then. Back at home, Stella attempts to reach her father on his old radio every day, but gets no response. Eventually, her mother starts to believe her and continues trying, though unsuccessfully. Now, once again, Stella reaches out, only to be met with silence. That night, Valen wakes up to the sound of someone trying to communicate with her on the old radio. Frightened, she wakes her mother and shocks her with the revelation that Tom is still alive. The American scientist who mysteriously disappeared 30 years ago has somehow survived and found a way to contact Stella, urging her to come find him. He gives coordinates, but Stella misses the most crucial part of the message. Thankfully, Valen records everything on a voice memo, preserving the vital details. The next morning, Stella visits the hospital and learns that her mother had indeed been in contact with Tom. It's only possible once a year, as Tom is now in space, where time passes differently. 1 year on Earth equals just 1 minute in space. To find and bring her father home, Stella must track down a bracelet, gain control of a mysterious sphere, and use it to travel not only through time but space itself. This will allow her to open a rift and bring Tom back. Knowing the bracelet is in Jamboon's possession, Stella and ITT ask Kong to steal it from his father. Kong hesitates, fearful of the consequences, but he too wants answers to the questions that have plagued him for years. Jamboon and Kong haven't aged in 30 years, and Jamboon's overprotectiveness has kept Kong from finding the truth. Realizing that his father is hiding something, Kong takes the bracelet and joins Stella and ITT on a dangerous journey. Night falls as the trio returns to the forest, where it all began. ITT, Kong, and Stella search for the glowing sphere, but Stella soon informs her mother that someone is near the car. Trying to ignore the unsettling feeling, Stella takes control of a Cold War-era warp portal. Suddenly, they are attacked by a mysterious woman who transforms into a terrifying monster. After firing at her, the group quickly retreats, but on their way out, they encounter Jamboon, who has come to the forest. Hurrying to the camp, the next key point in the chain of events and tasks, they follow the path indicated by the glowing sphere. Soon, they find themselves in a basement that once served as an underground laboratory for American scientists. This is where the central control point for the warp portal is located, the device that moves people through time and space. Once again, Tom connects with his daughter, revealing that he had been a secret CIA agent involved in extraordinary experiments. The warp portal is an alien technology, one possessed by beings from far beyond our universe. These aliens had once approached Earth and lost their technology, which the Americans then discovered. This technology ultimately destroyed the aliens, but humanity decided to harness the sphere, unaware of the potential consequences. At one point, the portal broke, and some pieces were lost, leading to Tom's accidental teleportation. He's currently aboard the alien ship, having spent 30 minutes there already. He has 20 minutes left before the air runs out, but for Stella, this is a full 20 years to gather the missing pieces of the sphere and bring her father home. The portal is malfunctioning, so the first thing it will do is teleport Stella to the place and time where the missing rings are located. Having learned about the portal's functions and how to control the sphere, Stella decides to embark on a perilous journey to save her father. ITT and Kong refuse to leave their friend in danger, so they decide to join her, regardless of the possible consequences. Activating the sphere, the group is transported to a barren landscape, where they notice a nearby Aboriginal settlement and realize they've traveled back in time. On the other side, they spot more natives and decide to approach them, only to discover they are bloodthirsty monsters. Fleeing for their lives, the group heads toward the camp, but they can't get inside due to a protective barrier. Only after Stella gets inside does she manage to let her friends in, leaving the zombies outside. While interacting with the natives, the trio realizes they have traveled back to 5600 BC. This tribe has long been extinct, but now they have the unique opportunity to witness their culture. Understanding they have other priorities, Stella urges the group to retrieve the missing part of the sphere, while her daughter befriends a boy named Modin. The natives mistake the visitors from the future for gods, which allows ITT to capture their attention. He shocks the ancient people by showing them a smartphone, while Stella works to retrieve the broken piece of one of the portal's rings. As soon as she succeeds, the protective field disappears, allowing the zombies to attack. Chaos erupts in the village, and those bitten by the monsters become the very creatures hunting the survivors. Realizing they can't change anything or save anyone, the group decides to return to their own time. Amid the chaos, Stella grabs not Valen's hand, but Modin's, resulting in her returning to the basement with another person's child, abandoning her daughter in the distant past. Stella tries to reactivate the portal to go back, but it's impossible. The sphere is still broken and will only send them after the second missing ring. Meanwhile, Modin's mother does everything in her power to protect Valen, hiding in a ravine from the zombies still hunting them. In the basement, a heavily armed Jamboon appears, demanding the bracelet and warp sphere for teleportation. He reveals that the time travelers haven't been gone for just a few hours, but for a whole 10 years. Due to their teleportation, strange things began happening, and monsters that had never been seen before have now entered the human world. The incorrect use of the artifact turned Earth into a home for horrific creatures that caused a bloody massacre. The world is drowning in chaos and destruction, but Jamboon insists he can fix it. Stella refuses to return the bracelet and sphere but promises to set things right once she saves her father. Jamboon opposes and tries to stop another teleportation, but Kong tackles him, protecting the group, and a shot is fired. Valen, Stella, and Ithel teleport to the year 2224. Armed teenagers surround them, but what shocks them most is that they have an identical warp portal and were waiting for the time travelers. Soon after, the leader of the group asks Stella to teach them how to properly use the time portal, promising them freedom in return. Their prototype is imperfect, but they want to master time travel to change their fate. From the leader's story, it's revealed that in January 2024, the military succeeded in stopping and destroying a monster that had terrorized the world. After a nuclear strike, the area became uninhabitable, but by 2055, the city was reborn from scratch. However, some rulers and elites had other plans for the world, leading to a division among the people. The survivors hiding here are part of the resistance, which formed after a terrifying explosion in 2165. The catastrophic disaster not only destroyed the city again but also filled the world with new monsters. The city is protected from monsters and missiles by a special field that keeps the dangers out. The rest of the world is crawling with creatures no one has ever seen before. Inside the invisible barrier are thousands of missiles capable of destroying the last stronghold of resistance if the defense weakens. The resistance, which accidentally discovered a fragment of the ring, wants to take control of the warp portal to change accomplish this and save humanity from complete annihilation. They manage to recreate the sphere, but it's malfunctioning, so they need a tutor. Kong is stuck in 2032 with his injured father and can do nothing to help him. Before he dies, Jamboon decides to tell his son the truth about who he really is. In 1964, American military forces and scientists conducted cruel and ruthless experiments on humans. Jamboon and Duangpan found themselves captured. Realizing they were condemned to die, the man and woman plan an escape. To do this, Jamboon pretended to be ill, while Duangpan took control of the sphere and began teleporting through time and space. Along with them on the dangerous journey were several soldiers pursuing them. Zombies in 5600 BC, the explosion in 2165, and other events were the result of the battle with the soldiers. In the end, Jamboon and Duangpan escaped but ended up in Donghai, in 1969. It turned out that the sphere was destroying its bearer, causing the woman to suffer severe injuries, but that was not the worst part. The teleportations caused her to slowly transform into a monster, and Jamboon had to create a legend about a curse so that once a year, people would bring her offerings of food. At the same time, the woman monster became the guardian of the sphere to keep anyone from approaching it until Tom came. It seemed that the worst was behind them, but Jamboon discovered that the Americans continued to kill thousands of people. Disposing of the bodies, they started using the portal, creating a rain of corpses in different places and time periods. During one such rain, Jamboon discovered a surviving but injured Kong and saved him, calling him his son. Meanwhile, Valen and Modin's mother accidentally teleport to 2024 and find themselves in a ruined building. The place is full of monsters and zombies, and over the loudspeaker, they hear that a nuclear strike will hit the city in 20 minutes. Valen and Modin's mother are doomed, trapped and unable to escape. Trying to do something, Valen closes the doors to prevent the zombies from noticing them and notices that the native woman has sustained numerous injuries from time travel. Stella and Ithel have one day to think and decide whether to help the group of ageless teenagers. A friend asks her to trust her instincts, as they have never let her down. Realizing that the resistance group has good intentions, Stella agrees to teach them how to use the portal. The next morning, they begin experimenting with time travel. The leader of the resistance tries to send a monster into the past, which causes the protective field to drop. The teenagers manage to knock out incoming missiles and destroy the monsters, but the situation becomes critical. When Stella and the resistance leader try to send the creature back, they only return an empty cage, while the monster begins teleporting randomly and attacking the teens. An external enemy tries to poison the resistance with toxic gas, trapping them all. Stella takes control of the portal sphere and partially opens a rift in space and time to destroy the monster that has been chasing them. Shortly after, she suggests traveling to another time, but the teenagers decide to continue resisting, even though they know they are all doomed to die. The leader of the resistance explains the structure of their world and timeline. Each journey through time has destroyed space and time, causing irreversible consequences. The world is on the brink of collapse, but Stella is the only one who can restore order. Only she has the power to ensure that the past remains unchanged and the future remains unknown. Stella decides to continue her journey, while Ithel chooses to stay in the future to help the resistance in their fight for survival. Stella and Modin return to the basement in 2032, where they find Kong, who has buried his father. The woman tells him about all their adventures and their consequences, and Kong suggests retrieving Jamboon's bracelet, which serves as the final missing piece. Now the portal is fixed and working properly, which will allow them to save everyone and restore the proper course of historical events. Instead of fixing everything, Kong decides to travel to 1976 to meet his friends and try to prevent the massacre at Thammasat University, where he was shot. Kong attempts to protect his comrades, but the criminals in red shirts execute them once again. Kong teleports himself back to the same place a few minutes before the attack to try to save his friends again. The constant use of the portal causes the boundaries between space and time to disappear completely. The past, present, and future become tightly intertwined. A true chaos ensues, with people from 1976, 2024, and 2224 seeing each other. Spacecraft attacking the resistance group kill not only the students from 1976 but also the natives living in 5600 BC. In the midst of this chaos, the students are killed again, and Kong realizes that the past cannot be fixed. He gives Stella the memory card from his camera so that the world will learn of the terrible tragedy and asks her to leave him behind, as this is his time. Kong continues fighting against the red-shirted criminals. The resistance battles the authorities, and Valen and Modin's mother begin fighting off zombies. Determined to save his daughter, Stella, along with Modin, travels to 2024 and finds herself in a ruined building. There, she discovers Valen and Modin's mother, but it's too late, she has turned into a zombie. Modin wants to approach his mother but realizes it's not the right thing to do. Even as a zombie, she still loves her son and doesn't attack him, allowing Stella to teleport and save the boy. Stella and the children return to the basement just moments before the nuclear bomb explodes. Due to the many travels, Stella is wounded and bleeding. She can't use the warp portal to fix the teleportation errors. Suddenly, a monster bursts into the basement, attacking the survivors and seeking to kill them for what they've done. Having contacted her grandfather, Valen receives instructions on how to use the sphere. Setting up the control panel, the girl initiates a system update while Modin bravely defends her from the monster. In the end, Valen, Modin, and Stella reset the system to restore everything to its rightful place. They destroy all the chains of events, the tangled fates, and the other mistakes created by their time travels. Having reached the boundary of space and time, Stella is given the opportunity to speak with her deceased parents. They are proud of her actions and encourage her to start a new life from a clean slate. Soon, everything returns to its rightful state, but it turns out that Stella's mother is alive, and Modin is now living with them. Stella spreads the knowledge she gained from her travels and continues to protect the sphere, realizing that this is not the end of the story. If you could change the past, would you? Stella tries to save her father, but every attempt to alter history brings catastrophic consequences. Can one mistake be fixed without causing more? Share your thoughts in the comments down below, give a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.